listen, when you do that, your light shines so brilliantly that the darkness, what does it say about Christ? The darkness could not comprehend it. But I also know in this day and time that the Father's will is that those of us who are shining brightly for Christ, He is going to bring people to us that we might share the gospel of Jesus with them, that we might take the opportunity to share Christ. That is the greatest need of our nation. It isn't to get whomever you like as a candidate for president into the White House. That is not our greatest need. I sometimes think we'd be better off if we would just close Washington, D.C. down, do away with the federal government completely, and just work it out locally. There's just no solution to what America most desperately needs in politics. There's no solution there. It is hopeless, a political solution. This nation is so divided, and I think the reason that it's divided, and I'll have to finish with this thought, is because the return of Christ is near. And the return of Christ being near means that all of the things that we read in the Scriptures about the end of days, about the love of people growing cold, about passionless violence, violence for the sake of violence. What went on October 7th of 2023, this is for me a barometer, a measuring rod of where we're at as a civilization. That you have got people marching on our college campuses with Palestinian flags, chanting slogans that amount to genocide for an entire nation. And they absolutely are convinced that the rapes and the murders and the hostage taking, Hamas just executed, shot in the back of the head, 6 hostages that were still alive. And you know why they executed them? Because the IDF was getting too close to finding them. They kept them in a tunnel. And they were given orders, if the IDF gets, Israeli Defense Forces, if they get within this distance of discovering where you're at, you're to execute them and flee. And yet here in America, we have young people who deny that ever happened, that the Israelis are oppressors and colonizers. And the reality is that the colonizers are the Muslims. Islam is colonizing out of, America. They have got Northern Africa, the entire Middle East, up through Turkey, and working their way up through the Baltic states. And Israel's one little sliver, but Israel is a colonizer. People are so deceived. But we were told this would happen before the return of Jesus Christ, that the world would be under a strong delusion. And I can't think of a more appropriate example of that than the apple of God's eye, which is Israel. Even within the church, we have people that are violently opposed to Israel. They'll come up with all kinds of conspiracies about Israel and how they are completely abandoned by God. But what they'll never do is they'll never produce a verse in the scripture that says God has abandoned his people Israel. And you know why they'll never produce a verse? Because it's not there.